Fairfield by Marriott, the official hotel partner of the NCAA, is sending Jesse Palmer on a mission to find the most diehard fans in college football. And as a former quarterback of the Florida Gators, former NFL quarterback, and current host of The Bachelor, he knows a little something about diehard fans. Jesse, what are you looking for on this search?
Essentially, we are looking for and trying to reward some of the greatest diehard college football fans out there, who have tremendous stories. I know as a former player for the University of Florida and also as a broadcaster at ESPN for the last 18 years, I've seen firsthand how fans really do make a difference, and they really do provide a home field advantage for their teams. And over the years, I've gotten to talk to so many fans of the sport, and they share some incredible stories about the lengths they've gone to see their favorite team play. Sometimes it's driving through 5 different states to watch their team all night, all day, going on road trips for an entire week to get there. Or sometimes it's just wearing the same shirt at every game over and over and over and over and never watching it because their team doesn't lose when they do. So really this home field advantage contest by Fairfield really is about locating those fans and rewarding those fans with some incredible VIP experiences to watch their team play at a home game. So for all those fans listening out there, I really, really encourage them to go to fairfieldfans.com where they could submit their story. They have until November 8th to do that. And I'm just really, really excited to hear about some of these stories. College football has some of the most passionate fans in all the sports around the world. There is no question about that. And Fairfield and I really want to locate them and reward them for their incredible fandom.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know something about crazy fan bases with The Bachelor as well. What fan base has been crazier in your experience so far?
It's a great question. Bachelor Nation and college football rabid fan bases are very, very similar, I think, in a lot of ways. They're all extremely passionate. They watch, they're opinionated, and they let you know about it. So I'm very lucky in both jobs to be surrounded by all of that passion all the time. It makes it very, very unique.
Yeah, I'm sure people are coming up to you all the time. You got one of the most recognizable faces on TV. Have you ever guessed wrong when somebody comes up to you? You're like, oh, they're a Florida fan and know they're going to say something about The Bachelor or vice versa?
Yeah, so we're filming we're filming the current season of The Bachelor, and we're out of the country. And there was a lady that approached me on the street, and she walked up and she said, "I know what you're thinking, but I don't watch The Bachelor. My husband does. I'm a football fan, and I love you on ESPN." And I was, that's completely the role reversal of what I thought was actually going to happen. So you never know. And obviously men and women watch both college football and the Bachelor franchise as well. But it is always, all the fans are just terrific and so friendly and so nice. So it's always great interacting with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And looking at a fan base that maybe needs a little bit more to cheer about right now, having their fandom tested, your Florida Gators, it's tough times in Gainesville a little bit. Obviously DJ Lagway, freshman quarterback, somebody bringing a ton of excitement, and he's splitting time in a rotation with Graham Mertz. You were in a very similar situation when you were splitting time with Doug Johnson and you were the young guy, and then Rex Grossman shows up and you're the older guy and you're in a rotation. What's that experience like on both ends of it, as the young up and comer and as the vet with some knowledge to give?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think there's a certain mindset I think you have to have, whether you're the young guy or you're the old guy, when you're in that sort of situation. I think number one, you have to remember that you're both playing on the same team. And at the end of the day, the goal is to win games. Everybody wants to put up the bigger stats and everybody wants to be the superstar of the offense and of the game. But everybody has a role in that situation, and you certainly can't be a streaky quarterback. You can't be one that needs to throw a couple completions and get into the rhythm of the game. You're sort of like a surgeon on call. When it's your turn to go in, you got to go in and you have to execute on command. But it's human nature in those situations when you watch the other guy throw a touchdown pass and the swamp goes crazy and your teammates are all going crazy and you're thinking to yourself, man, next time I get on the field, I got to throw a touchdown, or else I don't know if I'm gonna get another chance. And then you take the field and you start forcing and pressing, and then generally in those situations, bad things happen. You just have to remember that you're on the same team, and your teammates more than anything else. You're not competing against the other guy. You're competing against the other team. I think that's the most important thing.
So do you think that a rotation, when you have two talented quarterbacks like that, is the best thing to help your team win games? Or is it to pick one guy or work somebody in package situations like, Florida had done with Tebow in different years? What do you think is the best way to win those games?
I think traditionally one quarterback, because generally when you're doing that, one guy is far better than the other guy. But I think there are some situations, you're seeing it at Florida now, where you've got two really talented guys, one in Graham Mertz, who has the experience, who's made some big plays in big games for the Gators in the last two seasons. And then you got DJ Lagway, who's just got so much upside and talent. Obviously, he's the future. They're not too far off from one another. And the playbook doesn't change when either guy is in the game. So in that situation, I do see that it's most beneficial for the Gators to let both of those guys go. I think it really comes down to the individual offense, the individual quarterback situation. Because I don't think one size necessarily fits all in that case.
So specifically to DJ, because it does feel like he's the future and the future's a little bit up in the air at Florida. What have you seen from him in his brief time, either the full game against Samford or in his third, sixth, and ninth drives, or whenever he's getting out there on the field? What have you seen from him in those reps?
Well, the physical part's the obvious side. I think that's what everybody sees too. I mean, there's a reason this guy was the number one dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. And you can see he's got things you can't coach. He's got he's got size. He's a big, strong in the pocket. Obviously he can run. He's shown you the accuracy, especially the deep ball accuracy. I think that was something that everybody saw in the Samford game earlier this year. To me, though, the biggest thing has been his poise. And he's gotten in some big moments in some big games already against good defenses. And he doesn't shy away, and he really doesn't let the moment get too big. I think he's much more mature than his age might indicate. And I've had a chance to meet with him in person. I've called 2 of his games this year, and he does have a maturity and a calmness about him. There's a bit of an aura about him. You talk a lot about quarterbacks having a moxie. You can kind of see DJ Lagway has that. So I know the coaching staff and I know Gator fans certainly are very, very excited about his upside, what the future in Gainesville looks like with DJ Lagway there. And it'll be a lot of fun watching him throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, getting back to those crazy SEC fan bases, you coming down from Canada to Gainesville, were you prepared for everything like that entailed being the quarterback of an SEC football team? Or was there a moment you were like, this is different, I wasn't ready for this level of noise or this level of fandom?
No, it was totally different. I mean, the thing is, as a Canadian kid growing up and playing football, I always kind of felt a bit out of place. And when I got to Gainesville, it just felt like the Mecca for me. It felt like, the swamp was like a cathedral. And every weekend, everybody would go and worship the sport and worship the team. And that's where I felt I belonged. But I had never been in an environment where people ate and breathed and slept football every single day, all season. I'm so lucky I had the opportunity to play there and play in the SEC and play in major college football, to live that experience for 4 years, because as a kid growing up in Canada, that was my dream. And I getting a chance to do that and playing for Steve Spurrier and playing for the Florida Gators just was way beyond my wildest dreams and my wildest imaginations.
One more quick one before I let you go. Obviously, you kind of followed in your father's footsteps, being a former professional football player. And then you're in your mother's world a little bit more now and kind of modeling and TV. Did you know that you were going to have aspects of both of them? And what's that experience been like with your family?
So it's been really cool with my family. It's been a full circle moment, no question. I expected football in some way, shape, or form to happen. I only wanted to play in the NFL since I was 7 years old. So I always knew that. TV was something that sort of found me. And I was very lucky to have some very unique opportunities. And it's something that I think as a family, we kind of laugh and joke about sometimes now, because that was the part that I wasn't expecting to happen. I didn't study for it in college. And, I always say, I think one of the greatest things that ever happened to me that was out of my control was getting drafted by the New York Giants, because it took me to New York City in a major media market, which started to present those opportunities behind the camera or on the other side of the camera in a different aspect. And so, I'm very thankful for both of my parents for teaching me a lot of different lessons, but a lot of valuable lessons as a kid growing up. Hard work, dedication, discipline were things that my mom really instilled in me. And those are things that I think have been helping me in this career after football.
Jesse Palmer, the toughest guy in show business and best looking guy in football. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.